We are into the heat of the spring postseason and some great games across the board to discuss. Some impressive performances as well, including a very impressive feat from our Athlete of the Week. We have packed up and hit the road for this week's installment of Varsity 360, and it starts right now. Hi there everyone, and welcome to Varsity 360. Mark Coleman here from the Virginia Varsity Sports Network, taking a look at the week's top stories in Fredericksburg area high school sports. Some exciting sports to discuss, lots of postseason action going on around the area, including a couple of games here tonight. We have packed up, put it into a van, and hit the road. We are coming to you from the campus of Riverbend High School in Spotsylvania County, Virginia. The Bears will be hosting two playoff games this evening. They've got a boys soccer and a baseball game later tonight. It's still a little bit early, but this place, you can rest assured, will be packed in just another couple of hours. But it's going to be like that at a number of schools across the region. Some exciting sports to be played. It's always fun. I always feel like the blood gets pumping a little bit more during the postseason, and we certainly have arrived. Here to chat about sports with me every week, I have someone from the Freelance Star, the sports department, and this week I have one of my very favorites. He's part of that Freelance Star sports department. They do professional, college, and high school sports. You can follow them on FLS Varsity as well as on Twitter. They are at FLS Varsity. You can log on to flsvarsity.com. We have from the Freelance Star sports reporter extraordinaire, Mr. Taft, Coghill Jr. Taft, welcome.
Thanks for having me, Mark.
A little bit warm. We'll try to get you a nice, refreshing beverage before you leave, maybe to cool you off.
Yeah.
It is a little warm out here, but it is spring after all, and it's spring postseason, so
exactly.
It's the temperature feels about right.
About right.
A little more of a breeze might be nice, but it's sunny. There is a possibility of some rain in the forecast for this evening, but hopefully it'll hold off. Skies look modestly acceptable right now. Hopefully it'll hold off for us at least, right?
Yeah.
We'll make a mad dash if things get crazy.
Yep.
Mentioned Riverbend is going to be hosting two playoff games here at their campus this evening. One of them is baseball. Some really exciting baseball being played really across the board, Conference 4 especially. Hilton has been the class of this conference. They've gone undefeated in the regular season at the conference level. They certainly look to be a threat at the state level as well. Mm-hmm. Good competition, though, for that number 2 seed, the second team that'll make it into the regionals. Tonight, Riverbend will be playing Woodbridge. We've also got Colonial Forge against Garfield and Stafford against Forest Park this week. Actually, tonight. And then they'll be playing, the winners of those games will be playing on Thursday night. I would hate to try to pick a winner out of this group. Hilton probably is the prohibitive favorite, but that second team coming out of here, it's going to be some exciting baseball for sure.
Yeah, it looks like it's a pretty wide open field. I mean, you take a team like Colonial Forge and their head coach, Sean Zackelheide, he's been around the block, quite a few times in postseason. He knows how to, put the pieces in place to get it done. And then Riverbend, whenever you have a pitching staff like they have, they're always a threat to at least get to that conference final.
Forge was able to edge out Riverbend this past week for that number 2 seed. Forge winning at home, I believe it was 3-1 was the final score there. Mm-hmm. But really some impressive teams and some exciting baseball being played at Conference 4. Meanwhile, at Conference 15, they started a little bit early. They are already playing their conference championship game tonight. An exciting matchup between Potomac and North Stafford, and that should be a barn burner there as well. Yeah,
it sounds a little early, but traditionally by Memorial Day, I should say, you're already into the regional playoffs. This year is a little bit different, but thankfully our Conference 15, they're a little bit ahead of the pack, and they're going to play their at least get their conference championship out of the way tonight.
Have that determined, yeah. So an interesting situation in Conference 15 as well because of the number of teams. Conference 15 actually sends 3 teams to the to the regional tournament. So they're also playing a consolation game tonight. So Brook Point is visiting Mountain View. Two good teams. I've seen both of those teams play as well. Strong performances, strong players on both sides, well-coached teams.
Yeah.
That should be a really exciting game to watch as well.
Yeah, obviously the Potomac North Stafford's game is for the trophy, but I mean the other game, the Brook Point Mountain View game, a lot more is on the line because one of those teams' season is going to come to an end.
That's right.
So that would be one you definitely want to keep your eye on.
Justin mentioned it last week. This is a game that decides who doesn't go to the regionals.
Exactly.
So you certainly want to not be on the losing end of that one.
Yes, sir.
Some exciting action there. Some good stuff going on in Conference 22 as well, though.
Yeah, I mean Eastern View, they have a bye right now, but you have King George, and they're playing Chancellor on Wednesday. And the interesting thing about Chancellor, they've had a subpar season, but when you have a pitcher like Jason Morgan with some time off in between games and whatnot, if he gets hot, you never know. A team like that can make a surprise run.
And that's the thing for those that don't follow high school baseball. That's the exciting aspect of high school baseball that you don't get even in college. And certainly not in professionals. When you get to postseason, you're typically playing best of 3, best of 5, maybe even a best of 7 series. This is a one-game tournament. This is lose and go home at this point. Exactly. So you get a pitcher that's hot, you get a team that's hot, and some amazing things can happen.
Yeah.
Certainly.
Yeah.
And then also Conference 27, we've gotten some good performances already. They played Monday night on Memorial Day. Dylan Luttrell with a complete game for Spotsylvania. 2-0 shutout of Manassas Park. Gave up only 2 hits in that game, 8 strikeouts. Perfect example right there. You get a kid that gets hot, particularly as a pitcher, and your team can really go somewhere.
Yeah, Spotsylvania, they'll be an interesting team to watch. That matchup with Culpeper should be a good one.
They've got Culpeper on Wednesday. JM's got, I guess JM played Brentsville. We didn't get the final on that one. I think they played Monday night.
Yeah.
So still a lot of the hope springs eternal. So that's the other exciting thing. Everyone makes the conference playoffs, and you wipe the slate clean. You get seeded, but you can throw away records, and you go through on that conference tournament, and and you can stay alive. So
exactly.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Well, that's a look at baseball from around the area. Let's take a look at softball around the area. How about we start with Conference 4, where a bit of a surprise, the #1 seed is actually the home team here. Riverbend secures the #1 seed in the Conference 4 softball tournament. A 3-way tie on the top between Riverbend, Hilton, and Forest Park. All 3 finished the conference regular season at 5-1. A predetermined tie-breaking system. I don't know if it was rock, paper, scissors or thumb wrestling. Somehow they determined that Riverbend was going to be the #1 seed, so they have the bye tonight actually.
Wow.
So congratulations to the Bears on that. That's wonderful. Meanwhile, Hilton will play Garfield, Forest Park, Stafford, and Colonial Forge, Woodbridge. I tell you, there are 3 good teams there. Riverbend has certainly turned it on of late. Riverbend had the victory over Hilton. Hilton beat Forest Park. Forest Park beat Riverbend. 3 good teams there, and only 2 of them are going to make the regional tournament. So that should be, again, an interesting situation with some very good teams, some good competition.
Yeah, very interesting. And since Conference 4 doesn't have a consolation game, like you said, one of those teams, one of those teams will see their season end a bit earlier than they like. So
yeah. Meanwhile, again in Conference 15, they got their conference tournament started a bit early. They will be playing their finals tonight, Tuesday, and that is going to match up North Stafford and Massaponax. 2 very exciting games in that semifinal matchup there. North Stafford over Mountain View and Massaponax over Brook Point.
Wow. Yeah, North Stafford, they have a young team and a young freshman pitcher, but they've been a very exciting team all year. You don't know what you're going to get on either end of that when you have such a young team, but they came through with a very exciting win over Mountain View last week. So.
10 innings, 2-1 final score. That was possibly only topped by the Massaponax Brook Point game. Was played in 7 innings. Massaponax pulled off a 4-3 victory, scoring 2 runs in the bottom of the 7th inning, including the game winner with the bases loaded on a suicide squeeze. It doesn't get a whole lot more exciting than that. I mean, that's a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah,
that's a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, unless you Brook Point.
Well, true. As an unbiased observer, or it's just it's a good competition.
Yeah.
I didn't get to see the game, but those kinds of endings, storybook type endings.
Yeah.
I suppose maybe a grand slam walk-off might have been a little bit more dramatic. But
and at least Brook Point will get another shot at making regionals.
That's right. So
consolation game.
Conference 15 has the consolation game. So Brook Point and Mountain View will take on each other tonight for that 3rd Conference 15 team that makes it to the regionals. Meanwhile, some good action in Conference 22. A good performance actually on Monday, Memorial Day, from Eastern View's Brittany Piazza, who had a 3-hit shutout in their 6-0 victory over Chancellor. And then also some impressive performances on within Conference 27. Again on Monday night, Culpeper with a 16-1 victory over James Monroe. Taylor Billiard and Caroline Campbell had 4 hits each in that game. But then there was some pretty impressive performance. Spotsylvania, it was a blowout, 21-0 over Manassas Park. We had a perfect game in this one.
Yeah, I mean, that's always something to be said for that. I mean, Caroline Sorrell with perfect game, 9 Ks, and also Abigail Harris went 3 for 4 with 5 ribbies. But Sorrell, that had to been quite a showing she put on. Yeah,
Abigail had a home run in that one as well. So Caroline Sorrell with a perfect game. And she's not going to win our Athlete of the Week. So a little, stay tuned, folks. What do you need to do to beat a perfect game to win the Varsity 360 Athlete of the Week? Just wait. We'll bring that to you in just a bit. But
yeah, she's going to need to be on her game at Brentsville on Wednesday too, because I hear they have a very, very strong freshman pitcher there that she's going to have to match up against. So.
Yeah. So that game is on Wednesday. So that's a look at softball around the area. More good stuff there as well. Moving now to boys soccer, and we are coming to you from the campus of Riverbend High School. Actually behind us is the field where the boys team will be taking on Stafford tonight in a Conference 4 matchup. We know that the Bear Cave will be full tonight and expect a lot of excited fans here, assuming that the weather again holds on and they're able to get this game in. It looks more and more threatening off that way, folks, but should be some good excitement here on the campus of Riverbend High School this evening.
Yeah, with all the different alignments and conference and district and everything, sometimes the rivalries get lost, but Stafford and Riverbend, that's an old Commonwealth District rivalry, and it should be
They know each other well.
Yeah, they know each other well, and it should be a good one tonight. So
it seems like no matter what the sport is, Stafford-Riverbend is always a good game. Yeah. I think they could play ping pong, and it would be a competitive game there. So yeah, it's just something about that.
Yeah, football was a perfect example last year
right.
when Stafford didn't have a win all year, and they got theirs against Riverbend. So.
Yeah. Let's look at the schedule around Conference 4. Hilton has the bye as the #1 seed. Garfield will be visiting Colonial Forge, and Woodbridge will be visiting Forest Park. And the winners will be playing on Thursday. Conference 15, again, same situation. We had the final will be played tonight, Tuesday night. Should be a good one, Massaponax and Mountain View.
Yeah, that should be a great one, actually. I was at the last time those teams played, and Massaponax overcame a 2-0 deficit and squeaked out a 3-2 win in that game. Massaponax eventually wore them down, but they've been down a man. One of their key players have been hurt, so it'll be interesting to see if they can still wear Mountain View down without one of their key guys in there.
You did a nice story last week, I guess it was, about the 3 kids that are, I guess, have immigrated to the United States. Did you have a chance to chat with them about what they hoped to be able to accomplish this season, or do they realize what they're on the precipice of?
Yeah, I mean, all season long they've realized that, since I guess 2003 or so, Massaponax hadn't won a district title, and they checked off one of their goals by winning a conference regular season title. Now they want to check off another one by winning a conference tournament title, and then regardless of the outcome tonight, they go on to regionals, and they're definitely looking forward to making some noise there as well.
Right. Consolation game will pit Potomac at North Stafford there. North Stafford, a young team, and they've had to overcome some adversity as well. But they pull off this win. Yeah, it would certainly turn around the story on this season for them.
Because first year coach Troy Pugh, he came over from Fredericksburg Christian. It's been a little bit of a rocky road for them, but if they're able to get a win against Potomac, all of that will be erased, and they'll go into the postseason with a bit of confidence and momentum.
Yeah. Now you speak about a team that hasn't won a conference regular season championship in a while, and Chancellor comes to mind, a team that was a perennial conference champion for a while. They back on their winning ways this season, still undefeated, I believe. I don't have their record in front of me, probably about 12-0, maybe 13-0 at this point. A big victory over Caroline, and they continue to roll. They look like they're still the class of Conference 22.
Yeah, against Caroline they were able to try some different lineups and everything, get some guys some rest, because when they get into that Conference 22 tournament, they want to be clicking on all cylinders. I mean, obviously Cortland is the matchup they'll be looking forward to possibly in that championship game, and if that comes to fruition, that'll be one you want to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. Meanwhile, King George will be playing Cortland in that other half there, so
yeah.
I'm sure the Foxes probably want to have something to say about that expected final, but it does look like Cortland and Chancellor on a collision course there.
Yeah. King George, of course, wants to say something about that, but Cortland, you know, they got a good mix of upperclassmen and some talented freshmen like Jeremy Hokerson. I know he had 2 goals in a win over Spotsylvania recently, so they have that blend that I think it's going to take a team like Chancellor to knock them off.
Yeah. Well, that's boys soccer for the region. How about we take a look now at tennis? This is a sport that we haven't spent a whole lot of time admittedly on, but some good performances, some very nice performances going on. Some conference championships have already been decided. We'll start on the girls' side in Conference 4. Stafford was able to pull off the championship there with a 5-4 victory over Forest Park. They've already started actually the 6A South quarterfinals, and Stafford fell to Patrick Henry earlier this week. So, but a very impressive performance from the Stafford girls tennis team there. Conference 15, we've got an interesting situation here. Brook Point's turning into a little bit of a powerhouse. The Brook Point girls pull off a victory 5-4 over Massaponax to win the Conference 15 girls tennis championship. Cortland was the Conference 22 girls champion and have advanced to the North quarterfinals. They'll be playing Handley on Wednesday. Should be a pretty good matchup. And then Conference 27, we've gotten some nice performances from some of the JM kids here.
Yeah, JM, they beat Loudoun Valley 5-3 in the 3A East quarters, and they're going to face York on Wednesday. But as far as their doubles tandem of Lucy Castles and Elsie King, they're undefeated right now, and they also advanced in the 3A East playoffs. 18-0, 18-0. And as I understand it, Lucy Castle's just a freshman, so wow,
that bodes pretty well there for JM.
Yeah.
Let's move over to the boys' side now on the boys' Conference 4. Colonial Forge, a perennial powerhouse on the tennis side, they were able to beat Stafford in the Conference 4 championships 5-0. They're going to meet Patrick Henry in the 6A South quarterfinals there.
Yeah, actually, I think they've already defeated Patrick Henry, right?
You're right.
Yeah.
They did 5-3, so they advanced there.
Yeah, they're in the region semis.
Yeah, so congratulations to Colonial Forge. Always a strong tennis team there.
Yeah.
Lots of strong teams. Tennis is certainly one of them.
Certainly one of them, yeah.
Moving on to Conference 15, and here is a bit of a surprise. It has been a long time, maybe never. I'm not entirely certain. We'd have to go back and check the record books. Brook Point has actually won the Conference 15, maybe their first conference tournament championship, at least in quite a while. Of course, this Conference 15 is new, but a conference championship of any type. They were able to beat Massaponax pretty handily 5-2. So impressive performance. Girls and boys both pulling off conference championships there.
Yeah, that's very impressive for Brook Point in the first year of conference play to go ahead and put up those 2 banners. That's pretty impressive.
Yep. Second-year coach for the boys' side there, so impressive performance by her. And congratulations to Brook Point on that championship. Meanwhile, JM has, as the thunder crackles around us, JM's boys tennis team has also made some impressive performances there.
Yeah, they're quite a powerhouse. The last 6 years since George Christopher Rodis has taken over the program, they're 121-11. That's their record, and this year's no different. They're 17-0, but they have a really tough game, a tough match, I should say, against Colonial Heights coming up on Wednesday.
Look at Taft pulling off the inside information there. What was the record?
121-11 the last 6 years.
Wow, that's pretty impressive. JM with a very talented doubles team as well. Walt Mahan and Walter Cohen, 17-2 on the season, and they're the #1 seed in that 3A East boys doubles.
Yeah, and Walt Mahan, he's a guy who he teamed with Fitz Johnson last year to win the state doubles title. He played out of his mind, according to Christopher Rodis, in that one, and he's taken some of that some of that's carried over this year. And him and Warner Cohen, they've formed quite a tandem there.
Excellent. There you go. There you go. Well, good stuff. That's a look at the tennis scene around the Fredericksburg area. Let's take a look at track and field as the thunder continues to crash around us. Hey, it's live. That's not live. We're recording it live, but we are outside. If you didn't notice, we aren't in the friendly confines of the FLS studio on the campus of the Virginia Varsity Sports Network. We've hit the road, and we're coming to you from the campus of Riverbend High School. Let's take a look at the track and field around the area. We've got some impressive performances here. Starting in Conference 4, Crystal Jones. We knew her from the indoor track season from Colonial Forge. She was first in high jump, 100 hurdles and the 300 hurdles. Pretty impressive performance there.
Yeah, what's impressive about Crystal is she made her name initially as a freshman when she won the state outdoor high jump title. She jumped 5'8", but since that time she's diversified herself. She's gotten into the hurdles and she's become quite a standout in the 100 hurdles and the 300 hurdles. And she still hasn't forgotten her forte, which now she has 3 state championships in the high jump, and that's going to continue. That's going to be the thing that's going to get her, a scholarship at the college level.
Yeah. Well, wonderful, impressive performance from Crystal Jones. That wasn't good enough to win the Varsity 360 Athlete of the Week either. Hang on, folks, we're almost there. Let's move to conference. Well, you've got some Conference 15 that you wanted to chat about.
Yeah, Conference 15, Mountain View girls won the conference title. Michelle Morton, she won the 100, the 200, the 400, and the long jump. But what was impressive about Michelle was that she set either a career high or a career high or a season high in all 4 of those events. So, I mean, to be peaking, she's peaking at the right time.
No doubt.
Yeah, who knows what she's going to be able to do when she gets to the region season.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, and Michelle, another name that we know from indoor.
Yeah.
And also not our Athlete of the Week. Hang in there.
Yeah, and she just signed a scholarship with Hampton University as well.
Wonderful.
Yeah, full ride.
Wonderful. Congratulations to Michelle Morton on that. That's outstanding news.
And no relation, but Nakel Morton, a sophomore from North Stafford, he won the 100 and 200, and he helped North Stafford capture their Conference 15 championship last week as well.
Awesome. Conference 22, the King George girls were able to pull off a victory. That's an impressive team that they've got there.
Yeah, they're stacked in just about every event. They have a star in Miranda Green who's able to do the 800, 1600. She's signed with Division I North Carolina A&T, and they also have a lot of the role players like Heidi Colwell and Elizabeth Hill who do a lot of the, get a lot of the, I don't want to say cheap points, but they get a lot of the 3rd, 4th place finishes that really add up at the end.
Sure.
Yeah, and they needed that against Fauquier because that was one of the tightest team races they've been a part of in a long time. Yeah.
Well, we are finally here, folks. We're going to look at Conference 20 now, and how's this for a performance? So, Asian Pankey from Caroline, Conference 20 meet. Asian finished first in the 200, the 400, the long jump, and the triple jump. And he finished second in the 100 and the high jump. And he finished third in the pole vault. Did he clean up afterwards? I mean, what didn't he do?
That's the question. What didn't he do?
Yeah.
Because I talked to Sansbury Harvey, who's been coaching for 20 years. He said he's never had an athlete score more than 60 points. And Pankey scored 62 in this meet. He did all he could. I mean, Caroline, they finished second to Midlothian, who's a former AAA school. They finished second, I think 177 to 149, but it was definitely for no lack of effort from Asian Pankey.
No doubt. So Asian Pankey, 4 first place finishes, 2 second place finishes, and a 3rd. Yeah. And by way of that, Asian Pankey is the Varsity 360 Athlete of the Week, sponsored by Buffalo Wild Wings in Central Park. Yeah. Wow, what a performance. I mean, to beat out the other track and field performances, a perfect game in softball, you got to do something special. I think that qualifies as something special.
Yeah, this is another note on that. This is the first time he ever even attempted the pole vault.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, and he was 3rd in the conference, and he also set a school record in the 400, 49 seconds, 49.37 seconds. So quite a
awesome.
showing. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, that's a look at the track and field from around the area. Let's look quickly at the news and notes from around the area. A couple of one college signing and another college offer. We'll start with the signing. Joe Klein signs on with Clemson. That's a pretty impressive capture there.
Yeah, he's going to learn under a 3-time Olympian in the throwing events. I think his name is Robert Weir from Clemson. He was a 3-time Olympian in Great Britain, and he's the throwing coach at Clemson. And Joe Klein, who won the shot put 5A state title in the winter, he's going to go there and learn under Coach Weir. So
excellent. Congratulations to Joe Klein. Another offer for they're just racking up now. Gary Jennings, the standout from Colonial Forge, he now adds Duke to his list of offerers.
Yeah, he has quite a list of suitors now. I think Duke may be his 9th offer. He also has Virginia and Wisconsin and ODU, Buffalo, and a few others.
Yeah.
So yeah,
the list is getting too long to go.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Congratulations to Gary Jennings on his offer from Duke. Well, folks, the Thunder continues to roll and get closer. I think we don't see any lightning just yet. I think it's time to wrap it up. That's going to do it for this week's installment of Varsity 360. Coming coming to you from the campus of Riverbend High School, where they hope to have a couple of playoff games here this evening. As always, Taft, it's great to have you. I appreciate you coming out on location. It was a beautiful day. The wind's blowing. It feels kind of comfortable right now.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming out. It was great to have you.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
It's always great. Well, folks, I certainly appreciate it. For the Virginia Varsity Sports Network, I'm Mark Coleman. Thanks for watching, everyone.